Alright, this is a short story I wrote about the aftermath of the Cretaceous mass extinction, the dinosaur asteroid, from the perspective of our evolutionary ancestor. Ash from the burned remains of the once lush forests and animals cover the ground. It's dark and cold. The world was once filled with giants, the largest to ever walk the earth, larger than conceivable, especially for you. A little, shrew-like mammal, no more than 6 inches long. The only animals you've seen for months are the occasional burrowing beetle or insect, a desperately needed meal. You can usually spend a winter without food and do okay, but this winter doesn't seem to end. It was supposed to be the beginning of spring when the asteroid hit, but that feels so long ago now. You look around your jungle home with blurry eyes. A barren wasteland of ash and snow spotted with bones. You take in yet another painful breath of toxin-laced air. You're getting thin, and you're beginning to look at even the known to be poisonous fungi with some interest. Maybe if I just take a little bite, you think, as you hesitantly inch closer to the sickly growth on the mound of dry bones. Just then you hear a rustle you think might be dinner, and spin around to meet the eyes of a small feathered reptile, head low to the ground behind a pile of ashes as it stalks you. In that moment, it lunges, knowing it had been discovered. Panic surges through your veins, racing you to the nearest burrow, the skull. You dive into the cheek gap and duck behind the jaw moments before the predator's head bursts through the row of teeth, sending them flying. It looks stunned for a moment. You scamper back to the other side in surprise as the feathered face reaches in as far as it can and snaps its jaws. You sit there, watching and shaking. It backs out and rounds to the other side, trying to stick its face through the other cheek gap, claws scratching at the fleshless face. But the awkward angle in the smaller hole made it too hard. It moved to the back of the head, but the neck opening was completely blocked. The forelegs were crushed under the dead animal, and eventually it was covered in ash and its ribs crumbled over it. The predator tried to move the heavy bones, but they wouldn't budge. The animal frantically paced up and around the skull, searching for any possible way to get in, occasionally quickly lurching through the tooth gap and snapping in vain. Then, with her neck through the gap, stretched out as close to me as she could, she laid down and just stared at me. She laid there a while, looking desperate and defeated, watching what she desired most just inches out of reach. Then she began to whine, a strange sort of whine that was more like panting, sadly, with a slightly higher pitch. Then, with the expression of an idea, she backed up with a grunt and began smacking at a tooth with the side of her head in the little space that she had. When it wouldn't budge, she screeched her frustration. But then she drew back to the hill and rammed into the teeth with the top of her head, cracking through a few. She reached in farther, but not far enough. She did it again, but the cranium shifted, and when she pulled back, the toothless jaw slammed down on her snout with a sickening crunch of teeth. She pulled it out, shrieking and crying out in pain, revealing a bloody mess of cracked teeth and bony splinters. She's shaking her head in panic, her clawed hands frantically running down the sides of her mouth in some vain attempt to remove the pain. Her eyes darted in every direction, looking for an escape from this predicament. After a while, she turned her head to the left and to the right. She looks back at you and runs off. You watch her shrink into the distance, feeling disconcerted. You would normally feel relieved, if not joyful, at the demise of your predator, but this time, everything feels desolate, like you're mourning the loss of a companion, the only other critter you've seen in over half a year. A remnant from a world that will forever be nothing more than a memory.